The Bharatiya Janata Party in its present avatar came into being when the Janata government failed in 1980. Atal Bihari Vajpayee and LK Advani, along with former Jan Sangh leaders, broke away from the Janata Party and formed the fledgling BJP. With its ties with the RSS and its Hindutva base, no one could have predicted that 34 years later it would on its own secure a majority in the Lok Sabha. But then Modi was still in the future. This is the story of how the BJP grew from 2 to 282 in a span of 3 decades. For the second time in independent India, an opposition party has come to power by winning the people's mandate. The first time was in 1977 when the Janata Party came to power after emergency. And now in 2014, the Bharatiya Janata Party or the BJP has thundered into parliament with a majority on its own. The BJP began as an offshoot of the right-wing RSS. But in its initial days, the party existed on the fringes of national politics, trying to gain a firm foothold in parliament. The BJP had formally come into being on the 6th of April 1980 when it split from the Janata Party. Atal Bihari Vajpayee was its first president. In 1984, the party fought its first elections and managed to win just 2 seats in the Lok Sabha. The party, it seemed, was going nowhere. The failure of the moderate strategy championed by Vajpayee led to a shift in the ideology of the party towards a policy of more hardline Hindutva and Hindu fundamentalism. In 1986, the stewardship of the BJP passed to LK Advani, and the Hindutva factor came to play. Under Advani, the BJP became the political voice of the Ram Janmabhoomi movement. On the strength of the movement, the BJP won 86 Lok Sabha seats in 1989, a tally which made its support crucial to the National Front government of VP Singh. In 1990, LK Advani set out on his famous Rath Yatra across India in a campaign against the Babri Masjid in Ayodhya. It was this emotive campaign to construct the Ram Temple at Ayodhya in Uttar Pradesh that revived BJP's fortunes from 1989 onwards. On 6 December 1992, with the demolition of Babri Masjid, the BJP firmed up its pull in the hearts and the minds of millions of Hindu Indians. In the parliamentary elections in 1996, the BJP capitalized on the communal polarization that it had set in motion. The party won 161 Lok Sabha seats that made it the largest party in parliament. The BJP made a bid to form its own government and Atal Bihari Vajpayee was sworn in as Prime Minister.
मैं अटल बिहारी वाजपेयी ईश्वर की शपथ लेता हूं.
But not having the requisite numbers, Vajpayee failed to win the vote of confidence on the floor of the House. The first BJP government failed after only 13 days in power. Having learnt its lessons, when mid-term elections were announced in 1998, the BJP made sure of gathering allies and formalizing the exercise. The National Democratic Alliance, the NDA, was born under the leadership of the BJP, and with outside support from the TDP, the alliance mustered a slim majority. Atal Bihari Vajpayee returned as Prime Minister, but the coalition ruptured in May 1999 when Jayalalitha and the AIADMK withdrew support.
In the elections that followed, the BJP played up the Kargil conflict as a war victory over Pakistan and a reflection of the strong government that the BJP and Atal Bihari Vajpayee could provide India. On 13th October 1999, the BJP-led NDA, but this time without the AIADMK, won 303 seats in Parliament. The BJP itself secured its highest ever tally of 183.
मैं अटल बिहारी वाजपेयी ईश्वर की शपथ लेता हूँ
Vajpayee became Prime Minister for the third time and LK Advani became the Deputy Prime Minister and Home Minister. This NDA government lasted its full term of 5 years. Its policy agenda included a more aggressive stance on defence and terror as well as neoliberal economic policies. In 2004, Vajpayee called elections early, about 6 months ahead of schedule. The BJP had banked its hopes on NDA's campaign of India Shining, a slogan that depicted the BJP-led government as responsible for the rapid economic transformation of the country. But India Shining failed at the hustings when it suffered a heavy defeat in the Lok Sabha elections. The BJP's own tally fell to 138 seats out of the total of 186 for NDA. For the next 10 years, the party sat it out in the opposition, consistently trying to gain back the position that they had lost. With Atal Bihari Vajpayee retiring from active politics and LK Advani losing his pull in the hearts and the minds of the voting Indian, the BJP had desperately been in need of an icon to woo the electorate with. Over the past few years, the clamour had been rising within the party that this icon had to be Narendra Modi. A lifelong RSS man who stood for the twin BJP ideals of Hindutva and development. But the doubts still existed and a consensus was still needed.
ये हैट्रिक है। अगर आज चर्चा करनी है और आज का कोई हीरो है तो मेरे 6 करोड़ गुजराती है। जातिवाद के जहर से, लेकिन अब जनता सरकारों को जवाबदेह बना।
But when in 2013, Narendra Modi executed another thumping victory for the BJP in Gujarat and retained his chief ministership for a record 4th time, all doubts were erased.
संसदीय दल ने यह फैसला किया है कि श्री नरेंद्र मोदी को आगामी लोकसभा चुनाव के लिए प्राइम मिनिस्टर कैंडिडेट के रूप में सजेस्ट किया गया।
मैं ज्यादा नहीं मांग रहा हूं। उन्होंने 60 साल में जो बर्बादी लाई है, मैं 60 महीने में देश को उससे बाहर निकालने का इरादा लेकर के आया हूं।
The BJP hailed him as the leader who would take them to victory in 2014, and their hopes were sustained when the BJP under Modi won a majority on its own in the 16th Lok Sabha elections, a feat that no party had been able to pull off in 30 years. The BJP made history and ensured that history would record that 34 years since its humble beginnings, it had grown to be the strongest claimant to lead India towards a powerful and stable future.
He is a legend in his own right, the first president of the Bharatiya Janata Party and the first prime minister the party produced. He was elected PM 3 times, was known for his poetry and his oratory skills. Atal Bihari Vajpayee was the moderate face of the BJP. For the first 25 years since its formation, the name of Vajpayee remained synonymous with that of the Bharatiya Janata Party. He was a unifying glue who kept the allies from breaking away, and he was the moral face who formed the backbone of the party. And without Vajpayee, the BJP may not have seen the day that it would win a majority in Parliament.
A statesman, an orator, a poet, man who changed the grammar of leadership in India. A man who gave India its alternative option in politics, showed India the need to shun dynastic rule and confrontational politics, and embrace the path of consensus building and cooperation as an article of faith. We reminisce India's 10th Prime Minister's magnificent journey and 4-decade-long political career. Vajpayee was amongst the founder members of the erstwhile Janata political party and also served as its president. When Indira Gandhi imposed emergency in 1975, opposition leaders cutting across parties were put behind bars. Atal Bihari Vajpayee, by then a senior leader, speaking out against Mrs. Gandhi's draconian ways, spent 17 months in jail. When emergency ended, the Janasangh merged with the Janata party that swept to power in 1977. The first non-Congress government that India had under the Prime Ministership of Morarji Desai. Atal Bihari was given the portfolio of Minister of External Affairs. When the Janata government collapsed in 1979, Vajpayee broke relations, and in 1980, he, along with Advani and other former Janasangh leaders, founded the Bharatiya Janata Party. He became the BJP's first president and emerged as a strong critic of the Congress government, even opposing the Sikh militancy that was rising in the state of Punjab. Atal Bihari Vajpayee became Prime Minister of India 3 times. The first was a short-lived 13-day venture in 1996, when though the BJP was the largest party in Parliament, could not cobble together a majority support. In 1998, when the BJP formed the National Democratic Alliance as an alternative to the Congress at the centre, Atal Bihari Vajpayee was the automatic consensus choice for Prime Minister. Under Atal Bihari Vajpayee's leadership, the National Democratic Alliance ran the government for a full term from 1999 to 2004, with all parties working in tandem. The NDA allies had no problem accepting Vajpayee as their leader. Under Vajpayee's governance, India conducted the Pokhran nuclear test, conducted at the Pokhran test range between the 11th and 13th of May 1998. These nuclear tests resulted in intense international criticism and a steady decline in foreign investment and trade. But domestically, the nuclear tests were popular and Vajpayee's popularity rose in response. Vajpayee, a lifelong bachelor who never had children of his own, was himself very aware of his responsibility towards grooming the future of India. He pioneered the Sarva Shiksha Abhiyan program aimed at free and compulsory education for children between the ages of 6 and 14. In the year 1999, Vajpayee pushed a full-scale diplomatic peace process with Pakistan, and he initiated this new peace process with the historic start of a direct bus service from Delhi to Lahore in February 1999. Prime Minister Vajpayee personally accompanied this bus when it crossed the Indo-Pak border for the first time. This eased the tension created by the 1998 nuclear tests. In 1999, it was Atal Bihari Vajpayee who was the helm when it was discovered that Pakistan had infiltrated Indian territory in the high reaches of Kargil and Batalik. India, under his leadership, gave a fitting reply to the attackers. In 2005, Atal Bihari Vajpayee announced his retirement from active politics. At the BJP's Silver Jubilee, Vajpayee announced henceforth Lal Krishna Advani and Pramod Mahajan would be the Ram Lakshman of the BJP. Bureau Report, headlines today.